Welcome everybody to the Destiny Dugout. I'm your host Cruz, member of the 3-time World's First Team from Elysium, and this is what we've got going on this episode. Check out myself and Vandal's socials, which are in the description box below. Hopefully you enjoy listening, and let us know what you think in the comment section. Now without further ado, let's get this thing started.
And I catch him off guard, but this time around, I don't think I'm gonna use Hogwarts drama as the intro. It's probably a good place.
Better not to.
Yeah,
we can use Scamadumbo.
I mean,
as the intro.
Scamadumbo. And Vandals, how many followers have you gained from that, Vandal?
I don't know, something like 10 ever since I started calling salt anything but salt.
Nice.
10, 20, maybe.
I was expecting like 200.
No. God, no. I'd be. I think there's a site you can check to see how many people have you blocked. That number probably just goes up the more I post about salt, I'm not gonna lie.
Probably. Anyway, we'll use that as intro. So welcome to the Destiny Dugout, everyone. Today is the first day where we're gonna do our little final mini episode series with some teammates of mine on the world's first team. Today we're starting out with the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Saltagreppo. Say hi, Mr. Salt. Repo. He's called Repo at Advanced CG. So yeah, how you doing, Salt?
Doing good.
Doing
How are
good.
you guys doing?
Really well.
Actually doing very good because contest mod got added to the game.
There you go. Sure.
We will see. I honestly, that is something like I really have no idea.
The wording is very odd. And
It could be in there, but it's also like they weren't so descriptive.
Confirmed because they asked like the rest of the team if it would affect normal mod raids, and they said it wouldn't affect normal mod raids.
Yeah, it's just
So
I'll say to the extent of what they do to master is what I am unsure about, because I think they weren't super clear. If they were clear, I think, you know, Vandal and I were talking about it a little bit ago, they would have just outright said master has contest mode if it was just contest. So I feel like it's probably something like contest, but maybe just a little different. I don't know.
Yeah, they're dancing
It's
around
minus
it
20, but
intentionally.
with champs.
We love champs.
I don't know. I mean, if it was minus 20, that is contest. They would just say it's contest, or they say it's minus 20. Like they would have confirmed that, but the reason they're dancing around it is because it's not, and they don't want to say it's not because they know it looks bad. That's the way I interpret it, at least.
I don't know.
I mean,
It wasn't
we're all,
worded
we're all,
well,
we're all
but
we're all huffing sort of the same copium here, but some more than others, right?
sure. Like, the paragraph where they said master activities are gonna be minus 20 said activities like high-end activities. It didn't specify nightfalls, and only for GMs they specified nightfall. So it's basically just, I don't know, it's something unsaid that should make you think that it is minus 20. I feel like.
I think I don't know what I saw from that when they posted that, you know, it's because, you know, I saw what you saw with the, you know, it specifically did say Grandmaster Nightfall versus Master or whatever like that. I think that might just mean that, like, for, I don't know, Empire Hunts Master, you know, there is a no Grandmaster version of that, so they didn't want to say specifically Nightfall's there or everything else. It's just more encompassing if they just say it generally. And then for go ahead if you want.
Like, I feel like for every activity they talked about, even for Empire runs, then deltas were like constant. It seems to me like they want to have the same delta with the same wording. Like if it's master, it's always gonna be minus 20 on every activity. That's what it feels like they wanna do. Because I'm pretty sure all the deltas were the same. Like Legend was always minus 15, even when they brought up like Dares of Eternity. It seems, I don't know, copium maybe, but it's some good copium,
Just,
you know.
but,
It's like,
I mean, you're not wrong,
It's
but
somewhat realistic opium, to be honest.
it begs the question: why wouldn't they just say it?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know, but
Oh my god! Jesus.
Where's your? I was literally, as I did that, I was like, "Oh, we should try that one of these runs." And that's what Cal did that to me when we were doing master runs. We were trying to speed run it. It worked once when it was done accidentally. Once it was done purposely, it was terrible. Anyway, so we do have some things for you, Salt, to answer. We got some specific questions. They're a little more Lightfall-y focused, but to start out, we've got something a little bit more general. We can kind of have a little bit of a bounce back conversation too about it too. So what would you say, in terms of meta, was the most engaging for you in D2? Could be any time.
Okay, so only D2.
Yeah, let's say D2.
Yeah.
It has to be something pre-outstopping removal automatically, like then. So I would unironically probably say year 1, because despite having double primary, you had the debuff stacking, which was sick, and I love doing shoulder charge, tractor cannon, and all of that. I don't know, either that or like Forsaken meta maybe.
I was thinking with buff
stacking.
Where the levy stuff, like, is that too much buff stacking with all the mods?
Striking him.
I don't think it was too much. Like, it was what? Like, well, melee from well. Like, you had like the melee from Arc Titan. Like, it was like 4 or 5 sources. Like, I don't think that's too much.
I think
like,
maybe
right
it's just
now
like
it
the
would be too much, right? Yeah,
maybe a little too high.
That's fair.
Because I remember early on back then, I was always like, I love the idea of buff stacking because it kind of, you know, just rewards more, I don't know, more thought in the game. But I can also kind of understand that we were doing probably a little too much. So my middle ground is just keep the buff stacking, but just lower the percents. We never really got that, but I do think that could be a good option one day. If you ever get along. I mean,
not really lowering the percent, more just diminishing returns. Like, if you only get one buff, sure. I don't mind it being at 25%, right? But the next one shouldn't be another 25 on top of it.
I think actually, like, the diminishing returns is ultimately the best way, because then you don't punish, like, solo play or more casual play, because casuals aren't gonna, you know, invest in that. And in solo, you can only do so much. Like, you know, I think already expecting this season for, like, the solo dungeons. You know, we're all like running solo op, we can clear, radiant. It's like, oh, that's a lot for one person. Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'd say buff and debuff wise, year 1 was the best, but that obviously double primary sucked. So like weapon wise, probably some easy swap meta was the coolest one, I suppose.
I think one of my favorite weapons still is Izzy with Outlaw. You could just like nail any enemy and just instantly ×4 again. Oh, it was so nice. One day we'll go back.
I can try and get finisher on this guy.
That's what I was thinking.
As long as I'm using like a couple weapons and I have some form of like buff debuff stacking.
I'm going.
Then I'm happy.
Oh, Salt, you're trolling.
I am.
We got the streamer Salt. He's talking too much.
Oh god.
Oh my god, the goblins got ran over. Okay. So let's transition a little bit into some more Lightfall stuff. With you on, we kind of have the Titan experts. As for our team, both of us are the Titans for the last 3 raids, probably for the next 4 as well. Going into Lightfall, how do you think the Titans are faring sandbox-wise overall?
And this entirely depends if they're gonna drop an oil nerf like tomorrow, I guess.
Well, let's say they don't, because to be honest, the way they're making the game harder at a baseline, I don't know how they can justify that anymore. Like, to the average player.
I guess, but that's not really about difficulty. That's more about I'm not gonna use another exotic ever again. Sure, though. I understand what you're saying, but you know. Anyways, like,
yeah, let's start with some good
Titans.
things.
If they don't touch oils, obviously Titans are good. I would argue they are way better than Hunters for head clear in like a day 1 scenario. So they are like they are very good at clear. They have like solid super damage with Thunder Crash. It's like they definitely have a place in the sandbox.
I'm gonna slam these guys.
It's gonna be angle dependent on how important the clear will be compared to like boss damage. Because if the raid is gonna be like purely boss damage based, then you kind of want to. You kind of want
supers out.
More like damage supers, right? Like even the 5 hunters.
Oh god.
5 hunters. It's gonna kill like me and you, I think.
The 5 hunters thing is still not out of the equation, I wanna say.
No,
like,
it isn't.
Like,
but I would love for them just to like change how the super orbs worked from crits, because that's really all it needs. But I mean, you're right in terms of, well, I think you're right at least in terms of, you know, if you're gonna have a raid encounter like exhibition, I don't know, there's not many better things than what like a Void or Arc Titan can bring, to be honest. Even with like the Bastion nerfs, it's so much slower than it used to be, but it's still honestly kind of a no-brainer to pick.
I mean, we need to see how the build crafting changes affect it, I guess. But like, ultimately, is it gonna be crazy regen, right? It's still 9x, so...
I know, right? That's the thing with Hoyle, it's just... I mean, it's not even the damage aspect, it's just that you get your uptime of your abilities incredibly quickly. There's nothing that can really compare to it.
I mean, Titans are good. Like, Arc isn't as good anymore, but Void has crazy survivability. And even like, the nades are good on Void, like Vortex are good, so...
I'm gonna slam these barriers.
Bonk is something that you can confidently use pretty much anywhere in a day 1, because ads don't worth enough for you to not be able to use it, so...
Oh,
you can just profit from Bonk.
Jesus.
I'll get you when I can. Man, I don't think I can.
Finishers, man.
Seeing a worm missile here.
It's mine, don't touch it. Where is it? I need to shoot it.
It's already gone.
No. It's alright, I can make another one. Dude, Consecration melees, I don't know, it does so much damage.
Yeah, it's actually disgusting.
Look at that, Worm Missile. Bam.
He didn't stun, he didn't stun, he didn't stun,
I got him,
stun. Regarding Strand Titan, if you want me to talk about that,
yeah, let's go straight.
I feel like it may actually be broken good, because if that DR it gives to the whole team is like another 40%, and it stacks on top of everything else, it's gonna be crazy, right? But it doesn't mean it's like well designed, because if the only reason you use it is that, it's kinda lame, right? So it may be good. I don't know if it's gonna be good for the good reasons. It doesn't look too engaging, that's for sure, compared to Hunter and like Warlock at least.
I don't know, I mean, we talked about some builds with Strand Titan, and I don't know, like, to me, it just seems to have... It's just a step below Hunter, because Hunter just has the most, like, recyclability, like, in terms of its just base subclass without exotics. Like, I just think Hunter just got the best kit out of all. Are we doing the timer cheese? Are we doing the timer cheese or no?
What is this? I don't even know.
You just don't stand on it, and then you just, like, keep tapping it apparently, and never complete it, and like you just don't have to kill anything. Stuck. It's crazy.
It's fine, you got this. I don't know, like, I'm not really talking about like how strong something will be, because Titan has oil, so automatically a new subclass will be probably good. I'm saying like how interesting it looks, like how unique it looks. Like, Warlock is like a cool concept with all those minions. Hunter is gonna be crazy movement. The melee is like super sick. It comes back, you know. Like, Titan is just a shoulder charge without like charge time, and yeah, DR to teammates. That's the thing that's like, I'm not as excited to play it, and I'm not saying it won't be good. But...
yeah, you're just saying it doesn't seem to provide a lot of upfront options in terms of like what it can and can't do, right?
Yeah, and just like how fun it will be to play, right? Because I would rather use some cool new abilities than, oh, I shoot the Worm Cell, I give everyone an overshield. After 15 seconds I do that again. It's like, Yeah. And I can understand that.
That's kind of
weird, like the Hunter...
When it first came out, I initially said in general here, I was like, it just reminds me a lot of Void. A lot. Which isn't necessarily a bad thing, Void's great. This is kind of similar. design.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean
This
the
thing
hunter one
is
just the hunter one provides probably the most like you can do and just with the base subclass without anything. But funnily enough, hunters also have the least interesting, in my opinion, exotics to pair with it. They don't have a lot of options. They have bombardiers, assassin's cowl, and like that's it.
I mean,
You know,
Cal will be
Frosty's-
crazy if the melee comes back and is good, but yeah.
Yeah, you know, they just don't have a lot. Whereas Titan, they obviously have Hoyle and stuff, but they also have a bunch of other exotics that could see some use with Strand. You know, Armamentarium. I know we talked about Severance Enclosure a little bit, Cruise.
Mhm.
You know, hell, probably even Dune Marchers too. You know,
I mean, synthos are always anything melee related.
And synthos,
Synthos are
yeah.
good, right?
I don't think the
Synthos are
Marcher
insane.
changes the element. Does it? It's still
No,
arc,
it's
right?
it's still good though, because when you grapple melee and you unravel everything, that chaining,
Oh, jeez.
you know,
I guess.
has a chance to just kill everything. So
It's more of like a strike playlist kind of thing, though.
yeah,
Hey,
which
strike playlist
I
is
mean,
hard now.
Yeah,
True.
I don't think is fair to kind of discount it quite because of that. You know,
I mean, I'm not saying something being fun is nothing, but I would rather it being both fun and also viable, if possible, I guess.
I mean, of course, but you also got to be realistic. You know. Oh shit!
Oh no, is he?
What? I
I just
punishable?
walked in. He's close.
No, he's not.
He's really close.
Watch out, because the machine gun guy fries.
Yeah, I
Oh,
know.
you're good.
Can you
You're
get
good.
the
They're
rest?
fighting. They're fighting. You're good.
Yeah, I literally just wanted to break aggro. You know, obviously Vandal had a really big deep dive on Strand, which you can check out in the podcast channel if you want to see our previous episodes. Plug, easy.
There you go.
But I don't know. I think Titan has the potential to be the best going forward, just because of how much. I don't know. It's just kind of like, I mean, simple as it is, but Sever can be broken, you know.
Yeah.
And I
sure.
actually have copium. Let's say that the super actually, I don't know. I'm on. I think it's gonna be good. I'm with it. I
think so
it's
too.
Gonna be good.
I think so too. I'm not a full, you know, gonna write it off completely. You know, it's not the most original idea that Bungie has had for Titan, but I think with the way it works and in terms of its melee damage getting increasing when you're, you know, attacking, and then you get to a certain point, that also applies to the standard base melees, right? Which is why we talked about Synthos. Synthos is just going to go crazy with Strand on Titan, in my opinion. It's going to be awesome.
Should probably rephrase it. I do think there is a good chance it's gonna be broken. I just think it's gonna be broken for the wrong reasons. Not necessarily for fun reasons, like...
Well, and to be honest, I think that's the way that Strand is kind of designed. They, compared to Stasis, I think more so, they really want this to be, like, usable in endgame. They don't want to make it kind of like how, honestly, Arc is. Where, I mean, Arc has that DR fragment, but I mean, it's such a crutch fragment, I would say. Like, I feel like you need to be running it.
I think you also get, I think, a passive 10% while you're amplified, I'm pretty sure. I don't know
That's
where I
for
read that.
sprinting, I think. If you have to sprinting.
I mean, they have this new fragment too. That's like, yeah, when you're sprinting, you...
Well, I
It's
think
gonna be
just
striking
passively
light,
now.
I think. It's just becoming a mod.
Yeah.
I have
there's a lot
a
of-
G-Horn on too, just in case. I mean, I've had it on the entire time, but that way if
I'm dead.
lose,
I
yeah,
don't
if you're
know.
dead or something.
I'm just an hater of like passive DR sources that would like all of them to get tuned down. So having a new subclass, adding a passive DR source and an overload kind of thing that makes enemies do less damage is the opposite of what I would like to see, let's say. So like,
And that's fair. That's fair. I mean, I think having passive DR is inherently not a bad thing. It's just, you're right. You just can't have it.
it shouldn't
Left,
be
right.
40%. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying it shouldn't be there, right?
It shouldn't be 40%, and it shouldn't be so easily accessible. You know?
Well, the system I would love for them to adopt one day is just capping DR. So if you want to run 30% because of your 10 rezeal that you're running, then great. But that means you're capped at 30 and Sever's not going to do anything or anything like that, you know? Like introducing a rezeal cap, which reduces the reliance on, you know, like the rezeal mod or stat. Maybe I want to play into having Sever be my main way to get DR or avoid overshield. Or maybe as a hunter, I don't want to, so I'm going to be just, I will commit to the rezeal stat or anything else, you know? Just think, just having something like that could fix a lot of that concern that we have about having too much and becoming genuinely unkillable, even in hard content.
Yeah, I would still rather diminishing return even for that instead of like an hard cap, I guess.
I think diminishing to a hard cap could be cool. Because I don't know, I think at some point you just get too much.
I mean, I guess, but if you get too much, like, I don't know. Like right now, what's the normal resist people run out with? Like 85, like at base. I feel like between like chest mods, being in a well, 10 resil, like I don't know. It's crazy. Like it's between 80 and 90, I think.
Yeah, probably.
So like, what do you cap it at? Do you cap it at 80? Because if you cap it at 40, that's like an insane nerf to like resil sources. I mean, I'm down, but they're not gonna do it. You know?
His fucking helper's alive! His helper's alive!
I think 50 would be a great mark.
Yeah, I think anything past 50 is extremely excessive.
That is fair, but then at that point I would rather every source be like 15 and need like, I don't know, 4 or 5 sources to get to 50 than one being 30, one being 40 and you're set. They're just for like, from a philosophy perspective, I would rather less, like DR sources to give you less DR and have like diminishing returns for cups. I just cannot stand one source giving you 40%, that's just stupid to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Like I think the idea of like I think you said it already, like using, like for instance, if resilience capped at like 20% for instance, right? And then you have to build into striking light, and then you have to build into some other mods that give you some kind of resist to get to that 50 or 60% or whatever arbitrary number it is. I think that's the way it should be, instead of just one being most of it. Like you said, you know, that's just...
Let me shoot, yeah. Gosh.
Even without a cap, if you make like resil 15, things that are like Whisper of Chains 15 instead of like 40, you make the new of a mail like 15. Like that's already like, you're gonna need so many sources to get even close to like the amount you have now, right? You make well, like I don't know, 10% because 50 doesn't make sense for an healing super. The Void Overshield is probably fine because it's the air just to the Overshield, so I don't care. It doesn't feel that strong.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, they could do many things if they wanted to. Are we fine?
Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, cruise is fine.
We almost weren't, but we're still fine.
Anyways, they're not gonna do anything. They just increase the difficulty of the game. So like, that's their way to, let's say, nerf us, which,
I mean, it's one way.
It's one way that forces you to stay on the air builds, though. I guess. But if you nerf the air builds, you achieve the same goal, but I can actually use something else. But yeah, it's one way. I mean, better than nothing, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, not having sunspots for this super to throw quicker feels so bad after a while. Like, you know, like Soul Invictus makes your hammers last longer and throw faster. Oh my goodness, it's very noticeable when you swap off.
Embers are so good. I don't see another roaming super beating Embers like ever. I don't know. They're so
I don't know.
good.
They give Striker 20% PVE.
20% more damage. That's
my bad.
That's kind of insane, man.
You still only get 2 right clicks, but hey, those right clicks are doing 20%
R.I.P. Thunder Crash, dude. Striker's here to take over.
Curious on Striker Titan, so you do 1 right click and you're done. That would be sick.
How do you feel about roaming supers now making more orbs? I think that changes literally nothing for them. Like, I don't know.
I think it's more of a PvP change. How did I die to that?
I mean, don't they not want people to use more supers in PvP? So that would be counterintuitive if it was a PvP change.
Was it changed?
No,
for
they, no,
PvP?
they think roaming supers are too good in PvP, so that's definitely not a PvP change.
Yeah, I forget.
Oh, it
what
was
you
a
said.
PvE only. It was a PvE combatant kill. Yeah. I mean, I guess, well, what they're probably looking at is when people pop like Chaos Reach and you kill like 2 dregs and you spawn 7
Was it
orbs,
finishable?
right? Like, one-off supers
I
are
really
just
need
so
heavy.
good right now. Yeah, I'll wait.
Yeah, but like, even if I can make 10 orbs for my team, I'm still not using Striker, right? So it's like,
Yeah. Can you stun this guy, Salt?
I just don't think it was the issue with them.
I mean, they toned down the one-offs and then they just up the roaming, and it's just like a, you know, in order to get people to use what they want, something's gotta take the fall, kind of deal.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't nerf one-use supers though. Like, well, is still
Yeah, they
chilling.
did. No. Well, Bubble and Tether are unchanged. I'm talking about like Thunder Crash and Chaos Reach. When you kill a group of ads, the number of orbs they make is reduced from like 7 to
Oh,
5,
is
I
it?
believe.
7 to 5.
Yeah.
Yep,
Okay.
that's what it was. Yeah.
I didn't
So
even know.
I mean, to be honest, those are
I-
the things that probably could use a nerf. But like I don't know, roaming's hitting 2 more is not. I mean, like you said, I don't know if they're being more considered now as a result of.
I just feel like I will use Thunder Crash over Striker, even if Striker made 10 orbs and Thunder Crash made 0. Like, that's not why I use them. Orbs
Yep.
are literally irrelevant. I don't know. Like,
Well, they will be more relevant, but I will say that they will also become way more abundant. So,
yeah.
much less.
You mean
need
for the
them.
armor charge system, right? Like,
Yes. With
Yeah.
like our elemental well mods, like elemental ordnance, making an orb now. Like that's just
Yeah.
more orbs, and we're already so ability spam focused. Like how
Oh,
many
yeah.
more orbs are we making? Like that's insane.
And like you guys kind of touched on it a little bit, like if they don't touch things like Heart of Inmost and Star Eaters, it's just that's it, man. I don't know, like it's pretty cut and dry what's gonna happen. I mean, warlocks don't. What do warlocks have to the equivalent of like Heart of Inmost, if they do have any?
Starfire. I mean,
Starfire for solar.
Starfire, Verities technically, in terms of
yeah.
Nade energy.
apparently some bracers now.
Sunbracers,
Salt is
definitely
a
Sunbracers.
Sunbracers believer now. I love that. That's so good.
I hope the new Strand Warlock Super does like crazy damage together with the Threadlings. That would be sick. If you,
I was talking to
stack them
Cruz
up.
about it, and I think the fact that wow, I got stuck. I didn't even notice. I think the fact that it puts so many of the Threadlings, and because of like just basic Warlock, just their strand stuff spawns so many of them, they can't do a lot of damage. But they're trying to offset the fact that they do little by spawning a bunch of them. That's the whole idea.
I guess, but it would be cool if you can like stack, I don't know what's the cap, like 10 of them before like a damage phase, then go to the boss and throw all of them at the boss together with your super and do like comparable, and do damage like comparable to a Stariter Blade Barrage. It would be cool. Or even Iger, I
Yeah.
don't know.
I think that's in that sense that'd be really cool. Yeah. I have a feeling Bungie's gonna play this one really safe.
My guess would be
Maybe.
the cap
I don't
is
think it
9, by
should.
the way. Only because that's somebody
Okay.
spawned from the super.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like they're playing it safe, and I get sort of that logic from in the trailer and the video we saw the Tangle spawn cooldown from one of the fragments, and it's 15 seconds, and that's fucking insane.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean,
Unreal.
I know, I actually noticed that too, and I think that's because the game will crash otherwise. Like, what if you kill 10 enemies with a grenade? Do you make 10 Threadlings? Like, the game just dies? No.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like they could make that's a hard one. I feel like it should just be like 3 Threadlings and then 15-second cooldown.
You're talking about Tangles?
Or, yeah,
Oh,
the
Tangles,
Tangles. Yeah,
okay.
the Tangles. Yeah.
Just want to
Like,
make sure.
Just
everyone's
yeah,
clear.
sorry. Just strand terminology, man. It's gotten Cruz and now it's got me.
Yeah, me with saying stasis and shadow dive. You now saying
Yeah.
threadlings for everything. Everything's a threadling, but what is untangling? What is a tangle? So many. Oh, I thought that unstop got stunned. He did not. Oh, I thought so again. Baited. I'm just gonna keep sprinting around.
I'm just.
I
will.
Slam this guy.
Forever waiting for Salt. Jesus Christ!
Boom. It was worth it.
I was stunned out. Do we want to keep talking about Strand, or are other things we need to touch on? Not sure.
That is like all of our questions. We're about to be done, to be honest. So if there's anything you want to add, anything you want to talk about before, we can. Outside of that, though, we've hit our mark with you.
Yeah, I don't know. Some of the odd topics, I guess, are: did they automatically make all strand weapons not desirable because of the kinetic buff? Because I'm worried they did.
I think you're right. That's a good point.
I think stasis similar that way. I think them adding
but
more
is all
into that.
List, right?
Well, I guess that's fair. I don't know. I'm more worried just generally about how it'll all play together in terms of that kinetic buff. Because at this point, I just feel like, why would I ever run a stasis or strand weapon? Like, if I don't have to.
A special weapon, like at least no shot. Like the new Neo Muna sniper, I think that's Strand. Why would they use that? Like, there's just no scenario. It's literally just lacking Vorpal for free.
Lacking Vorpal for, I will say, the chance to make more strand-based things. But at the end of the day, it just makes more sense to always have your kinetic be a special, or at the very least something that's going to put out more damage. Right? It's like, why on a primary, why would I lose 15%? That is insane.
I really think they should have done that only against minors and maybe majors if they really wanted to do it. Doing it against bosses is just so limiting. Because, you know, like if my Riptide does like less damage to minors but I have chill clip, maybe I'm still gonna use it, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I think
example,
utility is an aspect that can overcome that type of nerf. Chill clip is a great example. I hope Strand has something similarly strong.
Yeah.
Because then it kind of does, I'll say, add more competition. Because right now, similar, honestly, I think Riptide with Chill clip is forbearance to the 1 degree less in terms of how much better it is compared to everything else. And I've been on that Riptide bandwagon from the beginning. I've been a believer.
Both workers. We saw that immediately and we were like, lead from gold?
Oh my god, I got another Subadagio. Let's go. I got 4 of them now. Goodness gracious, I got too many. Has a reload masterwork too. And alloy. I love alloy. Alloy is my favorite thing over extended mag. Alright, last thing before we end off. What sort of exotics did you guys get? I got a Mask of the Quiet One, pretty mid. A Second Chance, your favorite Vandal, also mid, 60. And a 68 Aeons. Let's go. We love Aeons.
I need to go to the tower to check, and I think I dismantled at least one or maybe bot.
Alright, we'll bring you to the tower. What do you remember what you got at least?
I don't think I do. It was an element or a pair of gloves. I think one was an Eternal Warrior with like 20 mobility. Was sick.
That's really good. That means you move
with
faster.
The striker buff?
Dude, with your, oh my god, you move faster with striker. Oh my god, your autoplay is gonna go insane.
I should have said it for the day one.
There you go.
Could have put me and Vile on the side, Eon Strand Hunter and me on Striker. Would have been sick.
Dude, I can't wait. Can't wait to run Armamentarium Titan in the day one with Grapple. He's swinging more than Vile.
Do you think there are gonna be grappling spots in the raid, like they're gonna be in the campaign to refresh your grapple? They could do it.
I don't think they're gonna be in the raid.
I wouldn't think in the raid. That'd be crazy though if they were.
Because, like, I feel like everything we're seeing and all the cool stuff almost always stays separate from the raid, because when you look at VAL, we got like the Lucid, the Hive Guardians, and like everybody thought, oh, we're gonna get a bunch of Hive Guardians, and
hopefully they learned with the Tormentors. Hopefully, man.
I don't know. I don't think they did, but Copium, again.
I mean, Copium is, spoilers, stop listening if you don't want maybe potential spoilers, is like Nezarec being final boss, and it's like Tormentors involved with the nightmarish thing or whatever.
Yeah,
there's some theories going on, so hopefully.
Bungie said Tormentors are so powerful that we had to use very few in the campaign, which makes you think they use them somewhere else.
Well,
they use them in Wellspring.
I thought about having a Tormentor possibly as like the final boss, because it would kind of fit the theme of Callus a little bit. Like Callus typically has always had, his kind of cronies under him who were his champions, and so for him to kind of put a Tormentor in the raid would make perfect sense. Where Nezarec plays a part, I don't know. Maybe they Tormentorify him up. You know what I mean? Turn him into juice him up like Bane.
That's also spoiler, kind of like. Did that leak from like 2 years ago that they said the raid was in the Traveler? Like, was that fake or what?
I have no idea.
People still say that things. I don't know.
I don't think it'll be.
Pretty sure it was fake. Yeah,
I think that's crazy. I don't want it to be. I want that to still be a mystery. I feel like that's too soon to like know. Maybe final shape we fight. We fight the Traveler itself. No light subclasses. Must use all darkness. That'd be a good twist. All right, Vandal, do you have any final words?
Salt is a hired employee by Bungie, so any and all opinions by Salt are reflective of Bungie. Don't forget that.
For legal reasons, I think I have to say that's not true.
Well, you can say that.
Exclamation mark Vandal.
Go into Salt's chat and type that if you're curious what that is.
Well, that's actually exclamation mark rules, I think. But
that's true.
No. Look, if Salt doesn't even know his own chat commands, come on, man. Look at this guy. Salt, do you have anything you would like to say before we close out?
Don't think so. Hopefully the raid is sick, hopefully STRAND is sick, and hope everyone is fun with Lightfall.
Alright, I'll give you one last question. On a scale of 1 to a lot of sausages, how hyped are you for Lightfall?
I mean, I'm pretty much as hyped as always, which is like probably a 9 out of 10. I don't know. I'm always very hyped when there is a new raid.
How many sausages?
9 sausages out of 10 sausages.
That's pretty hype. That's
a lot of sausages.
That's a lot. Man. I was thinking you might say 3. He's 9, boys. Oh my goodness.
I didn't even know it's possible to eat that many sausages. That's crazy.
In one. Okay, I don't know. I mean, then like a 6 if it's in one.
Salt's just putting them down, man.
That's why he goes to the market every day. He's got to go get more.
No, I want to say, story-wise, I was maybe a bit more hyped for Witch Queen because Sabaton was just like a super cool antagonist. I feel like, but
you don't like Smoky Head? You know, like Bucket Helm and Smoky Head.
I don't know how to explain it, but like when they presented Beyond Light and they showed the Witch Queen, I was super hyped. Then I saw Lightfall, I was like, oh, what is this, right? Like, the Witch Queen is just like a sick title for a DLC.
I saw that and I was like, oh man, Witch Queen was going to be sick. But to be honest, I am very excited for Lightfall because I think the Witness is actually my favorite character, like, antagonist-wise.
I think Savathun just holds more weight because we've been hearing about Savathun since the very, very beginning.
Yeah.
And like she's like an established antagonist in the deep. At first it was the deep lore, and then it became the more upfront lore, and then it was like right in your face. Like Savathun is just playing a bigger and bigger part. So that's why like Witch Queen was more relatable, whereas the Witness right now you only have what kind of they're telling us and what we've seen. And I'm sort of with you, Salt. I sort of relate to that, but I'm excited for Lightfall just because of all the changes. All the changes, like the armor and all that stuff. Like, that's what's got me hooked.
I wanted to finish that. I was like, purely story-wise, if I need to compare like Savathun to like Calus as an antagonist, because I see Calus as an antagonist more than the Witness in Lightfall, it's like I'm more hyped for Savathun, but regarding Lightfall, I'm way more hyped for the quality of life changes than I was for Witch Queen. I mean, they didn't do much for Witch Queen, like, regarding that.
I mean, when was the last time we got this many
30 minutes
changes?
ago. Or like, not 30 minutes, like an hour ago in VC. I was like, I honestly think this is as much, or maybe even more, than what we got in Forsaken.
Exactly.
There's so much. There's so much.
Now, I'm not sure how game-changing those are gonna be and how good they're gonna feel, but there's definitely a lot of changes, right? Like, Forsaken added some crazy things, like, I mean, new supers and like special weapons, like that's
going
huge.
Away
like,
from double primary is, I think,
Yeah.
one of the most impactful changes. So I
Absolutely.
was saying, like, I don't think he was. I don't. At the end of the day, I don't think it's as much impactful wise, but in terms of quantity, I don't think we've ever seen as much change.
No, for sure.
At one point, which is just, it's gonna make the game just feel so different. Which, whether they're good or bad, I mean, I'm happy at the end of the day that there's something that's gonna make the game feel a little different. Because, I mean, from Beyond Light to Witch Queen, I mean, even Shadowkeep, there just hasn't been much evolution in terms of things. But Lightfall's bringing a lot, so bringing the heat.
Not all changes can be good, but if they don't make changes, they can't even test things. Like, they have to make changes. Then if they're bad, they can revert them. I don't know. That's how I see it.
Just see how it goes, right? Maybe there's some aspects that they can learn from a bad change that makes a good change later on, you know? All right. As always, we appreciate you guys listening and watching. Of course, I will throw Salt stuff in the description, but you guys already know who the Saltagreppo is. If you don't, like I said, it'll be down there. Next time you will hear from us will be with another teammate, probably the day after this gets posted. So we'll see you then for some more Nightfall and Teams talking. Nightfall and Team talking. Listen, man, what else is it? I don't know. We're Nightfall and Team talking.
We'll find a name for that.
We'll find a name. I love that little pause at the end there, because I was like, I don't even know what I just said. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for watching. See you.